Welcome in, everybody. It's Tully again here with another mock draft video for you guys. Um, think about maybe just doing 2 rounds tonight. I hate just doing one because it just feels like, yeah, you can get through it quick and whatnot, but it's nice to at least see like two places that teams might go versus just one, in my opinion. I very rarely like sitting there watching a 1 round mock because it just goes typically, I mean, things change up when people do different, mock drafts or whatever, but like you kind of already know like all the players that are going in the first, or at least have a good idea. So it's kind of like the same thing over and over again. At least with at least 2 rounds, you can change things up a little bit. Um, so the Bears still have the number one overall pick. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news lately, but I guess Caleb Williams' camp came out and said that he told them he doesn't want to play for the Bears. And then shortly after that news broke, um, Caleb Williams went on his social media and posted a picture of him as a child wearing a shirt with a bear on it. So I think that was kind of to shut those rumors up or down. Or maybe he doesn't want to play in Chicago. I'm not really sure. But let's just do this scenario as if he doesn't want to be a Chicago Bear. And now the Chicago Bears are stuck. Like, they might as well just move down then if they're not going to select the guy. I mean, we've seen back in the past where Eli Manning got drafted to the Chargers and he was like, I ain't playing for them. And he basically more or less forced the Chargers to trade him right out, like, I think it was either after the draft or during the draft. And he went to the Giants instead. Um, it's very rare you see something like that, but could be a possibility. But for this mock draft, let's have the Bears trade out. And who should we have move up to get someone or to get Caleb Williams? Uh, Obviously, I don't think it's going to be somebody too far down the board. Maybe we do it with the. You know what? I'm gonna do it with the Minnesota Vikings, possibly. I don't know what their capital looks like. We'll have to see if they have enough to do it. But what better situation if I'm Caleb Williams would I want to go to when I have like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison as my two receivers? I mean, that would be somewhere where I would love to go if I were him. So we know it's going to obviously they're going to swap first. We got to get around 3,000 points. We're going to obviously add their next year's first in there. It's probably going to take. We don't want to deplete too much of their draft this year. So let's maybe go with they have all their picks next year. So we'll obviously take the two. Um, it's gonna take a lot. We might need even this year's second. Add that in there, and then let's add one of the maybe let's go because this is for a quarterback, so it's gonna be a lot. So just two, a first round and two second rounders. I don't think we'll do it. Might have to add just one more thing into that. Um, since they have two fourths, maybe we add this second fourth there, and we're gonna send that on over. So the Bears come out with a haul, get next year's first, this year's second, and next year's second, and then this year's fourth off of the Vikings for them to slide up. Let Kirk Cousins take a walk, and the Bears are or the Vikings are going to take Caleb Williams number one overall. I don't see too many teams having the Vikings trade up, so I like to do it because, or I mean, too many people do mocks. I mean, usually it's like the Patriots or the Falcons or the Raiders or something like that. I don't see too many people jumping up with the Broncos or Vikings, and I've done both before. So, all right, Washington is going to sit here. They're going to stay and pick a quarterback, and I'm still set on Jaden Daniels being my QB2, so he's going to go to Washington there. And the Patriots are up now, and it's kind of one of those situations where you pick between maybe Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, or you just go for Drake May. Um, these quarterbacks, the rest of the group, like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and basically everyone after that, had a real shitty Senior Bowl. I mean, people like to say, well, yeah, they didn't have a good Senior Bowl, and then they started to turn it on at the end. I don't see it, bro. I mean, did they do a little better? Sure, but as far as like draft stock purposes, I don't think any of them moved up, and I definitely don't. I think most of them actually fucking moved down. If you're asking me, excuse my language. So if I'm the Patriots, man, I know it sucks. They suck at drafting wide receivers and all that, but this group is pretty talented. These wide receivers, so I'm taking my chances on that later in the draft. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is like you can't miss pick, but the quarterback position is so important, and Drake May is the last one in this draft that, in my opinion, now is a first round pick. After this, watching this Senior Bowl, we'll see how the combine goes, but none of them are doing it for me. You know who looked the best at the Senior Bowl? Spencer Rattler, and that's not saying a whole lot because he didn't look amazing or anything, but I would take Spencer Rattler in the third, fourth round over taking Bo Nix or Michael Penix or any of these guys like early in the second or even in the first. So we're going Drake May, no questions about it there for the Patriots. Now we got the Cardinals up and making no fusses about it. They're going to end up with Marvin Harrison Jr. at pick 4. Now we got the Chargers up here at pick 5, and I was thinking about this. I don't know what Jim Harbaugh is going to want. I'm thinking this is like a pick where I think they actually could move out of. But it's hard to say that with the talent that's sitting here. A lot of people, have them taking Brock Bowers because Jim Harbaugh loves his tight ends. I even have done it. But I'm thinking, maybe he addresses that later on and just solidify. He likes to run the football. I mean, it's not, it's no surprise or anything. So maybe he wants to go get one of like the top tackle in the draft and continue to build the offensive lineup to run behind. Could be a possibility. So we're going to exercise that and take Joe Alt here at pick 5 to the Chargers to play, I would assume, right tackle with Rashawn Slater staying left and replacing Pipkins on the right side there. They say it's a lot easier for a left tackle to transition to right tackle than a right tackle to transition to left. A right tackle that never had to protect the blind side before switching to left is a little harder than a left tackle who excels at that, moving over to the right side that doesn't have to worry about it as much, so that makes sense to me. New York Giants up with the 6th pick, and with the way the quarterbacks have fallen to this point, which 1, 2, 3, there you go. They're going to take Malik Neighbors here to get them a number 1 weapon in the passing game since they have not had that in a while. Just makes the most sense about what's here. He could make a case for tackle to get Evan Neal out of there, but they invested first-round capital on him. Everybody says, oh, just kick him into guard, and that could be possible, but you're just betting on that he's going to be good there. You know what I'm saying? So let's just give him another year, see how he works out at right tackle. If not, replace him, or maybe free agency, you can grab somebody there, or maybe even later in this draft. We'll see how it pans out. But Titans up now, and I haven't picked a single other player for. I mean, I've taken Rome Odunze here to the Titans before just to switch things up, but it's pretty obvious that their offensive line needs a ton of work, and so we're just going to take Olu Fashanu there at 7 to the Titans. Falcons up here at pick 8. So they're a team that I could see going defense or taking Rome Odunze here. For me, it's either going to be edge or take the wide receiver. And with him being the last one in this tier, it might be smart to go Odunze. They don't have any passing game. Now Arthur Smith is with the Steelers, and he's not the head coach anymore, so maybe they don't have a run-heavy scheme like they did before. Maybe they actually want to start throwing the ball to their talented weapons like Kyle Pitts, like Drake London, like Rome Odunze there. going to the Falcons at pick 8. You just got to get better through the air, and maybe their scheme's a little bit different now. So we got the Bears here at pick 9. Let's see what we want to do. Would have liked to have Odunze there at wide receiver, but since they missed out on that, I would probably just take the best edge available. And to be honest, I watched some of Latu's reps at the Senior Bowl, and I wasn't overly impressed. I'm not saying that like 1 week can ruin a guy's stock or whatever, but he's already got the neck injury thing hanging over his head, and he just looked like fairly average at the Senior Bowl. He was the best player arguably there. I mean, not even arguably, he was supposed to be the best player even there, and it's not like he was dominating cats or anything. It didn't really like do anything for me. So with that being the case, a lot of people have Dallas Turner as their edge 1, and I'm not saying he's bad at all. Obviously, he's one of the top edges in this class, but he kind of like, for some reason, he's kind of like giving off like slightly like Trayvon Walker vibes to me. Like the Jaguars just like grab Walker first overall with Aiden Hutchinson sitting there, and like, because everyone hyped up Walker the whole time. And like he's kind of a smaller speeder edge, sort of like similar to Walker a little bit. And I think I just think Jared Verse is like the best edge in this class for me right now. Dallas Turner not far behind. I wouldn't, I'm not gonna like count him out completely, but I would take Jared Verse if I was the Bears, and that's what I'm gonna do here. A little bit bigger, 260, 6'4", 6'4". Dallas Turner's 242 at 6'4", so you got a little extra added weight with Jared Verse, and I just kind of like the player slightly more. So Bears get Jared Verse there at pick 9. Now we got the New York Jets up, and most of the time I either have them take a wide receiver if like Odunze would fall or something like that, or like an offensive lineman. But Brock Bowers is still here at pick 10. I don't see a whole lot of people mocking Bowers to the Jets, and I think it could, I think like obviously it's a super upgrade over Conklin, and you have Rodgers that 1 more year. Maybe you're gonna just like go all in on trying to win a Super Bowl, and yes, of course, offensive line helps for sure, but I just don't think you pass up on this talent, and they need somebody other than Garrett Wilson to throw to. I know Rodgers brought in like his couple set of guys, like with Lazard and Cobb and all that, but they're kind of washed in my opinion. And we see how important these like top tier tight ends are to teams. Like it's a big help in the passing game if you have one that's an elite tight end like this. He can block, he can catch, he can play out of the slot if you want him to. He's basically, in my mind, like a little bit better than Dalton Kincaid as far as like catching the ball, but then can block better than Kincaid. And we've seen the impact that like Kincaid had this year. We've seen the impact that Sam Laporta had on the Lions this year. It's definitely worth the pick, so we're going to take him there for the Jets at 10. I apologize for the sniffles. I am sick again. So now we got the Bears back on the clock. Let's see where we can go for them. I was kind of thinking corner to get somebody to go with Jalen Johnson there. Either that or definitely like defensive interior line. 11th pick. I think their offensive line, like, it could use an upgrade, but it's not bad by any means. Like, I think Braxton Jones did fine at left tackle. Plus, Latham and Fuaga are like right tackles. Not to say they can't play the other side. I don't know, but yeah, like these top tackles right here are all right tackles. Troy Faltano for me is a guard. Same thing with Graham Barton. So, with this pick, I think we just take maybe the top corner off the board, that, or go with like Jerzon Newton, Byron Murphy, one of those two. Excuse me. Um, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for corner. And excuse me. My top corner right now, as it sits, I like Terrion Arnold very much so. I mean, it's like a 5-6 horse race for this top QB. I definitely think Kool-Aid McKinstry is sort of the odd man out. Just, solid corner, but just not doesn't do anything to blow your socks off. Nate Wiggins is very athletic. I do like him, a little young, which is good. I mean, you want young players, of course, but he might need a little bit of work. I saw some stuff about him like not putting his full effort in on plays sometimes if he gets beat or um, I just think Terrion Arnold is just a dog. I like Cooper DeJean too. He's a dog, but I'm not saying he can't play corner, but I think Cooper DeJean would make a hell of a safety. Let's go Terrion Arnold to the Bears there. Really upgrading that defense. They're gonna need to take a wide receiver later on, but they did grab the Vikings second round pick for the Vikings to move up in this mock draft, so maybe we can address one there. All right, the Broncos are up, and like I said, I'm not taking any quarterbacks this early anymore. I was slightly willing to. We still don't really. This is why like even this site has JJ McCarthy now over Bo Nix and Michael Penix. People are holding on to this Senior Bowl a little bit, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying 1 week should just ruin a guy, but it leaves a shitty taste in your mouth when you watch them go out there and just be mediocre. You know what I'm saying? So Broncos, we're gonna have them maybe go with we're gonna take Dallas Turner here to the Broncos. Let's go get him. He shouldn't have fallen this far, and go get that edge you need there. Um, Raiders up on the clock. I'm thinking also corner for them. Take the second corner off the board. In this case, Quinion Mitchell really did a lot for himself at the Senior Bowl. He was one of the players that actually just really boosted his stock, and he even like sat out the game, I think, because he did so much in the practices that everyone was just drooling over him. So we're gonna take a swing here. We're gonna take Quinion Mitchell to the Raiders there at pick 13. I usually had him go in first round still, but it was normally like, you know, in the mid 20s range. But I think he did a little bit to definitely, because everyone was like, he played at Toledo. He didn't play against, top competition. He just went down to the Senior Bowl and faced fairly good competition, top competition. Like, you know, he was in there against, what's his name? Uh, like Ricky Pearsall, um, Lab McConkey. I know Tez Walker was down there. He looked kind of like shit, to be honest. But regardless, like these are top players in the wide receiver class, and he handled those with no problem. So I think he can do it. That would have been the only knock, is that he played at a small school. Can he handle it with the big dogs? And I think he can. All right, Saints up at pick 14. Uh, let's see. I think maybe we take a tackle here because Penning, that you picked, what was that, last year, didn't really look any good. Could do that, or we could go defensive interior line. Thinking there as well. Or you could go offensive line. Or I already said that with Penning. I think it's one of the two. Um, in this case, we're going to take a swing. And we're going to go get... we'll go get J.C. Latham here for the Saints. Continue to build in the trenches there and find the tackle that works, because Penning just doesn't seem to be it. So now we got the Colts up here at 15. This could be a spot for another tackle. We could go edge. Even corner. I've been usually giving them a corner. I think I might continue to do so. I know Kenny Moore is a free agent, so he might be out the door. and your cornerback room doesn't look that sweet, especially with him possibly being gone. So I'm gonna grab Nate Wiggins here for the Colts at 15. 16, the Seahawks. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be still defensive interior line. I've put Newton here. I've put Byron Murphy here. Pick your poison. In this case, I have Byron Murphy just a tick over Newton, which doesn't make a lot of sense because Newton was more productive. But Byron Murphy's slightly bigger. Newton's size might get him a little bit in the league. Byron Murphy just seems to win even when he's on his knees, which is crazy if you watch any film. Like the dude is like winning on his knees. It's crazy. To me, it's like sort of a knock, but not really. Like it's impressive that a guy can win on his knees, but why is he on his knees? You know what I'm saying? So a little weird, but we're gonna stick with my consensus right now. We're still early in the draft process. Right now, he's still my defensive interior one, so we're gonna go Byron Murphy there at 16 to the Seahawks. Now we got the Jaguars up at pick 17, looking corner or wide receiver with this pick. Because you got Christian Kirk, Ridley. You've been using Zay Jones on the other side, which has kind of been hit or miss for you. And I think they need somebody like so Zay Jones brought the deep threat that the other two really didn't. Um, so I think you go get a better Zay Jones and get Brian Thomas Jr. We're gonna take Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jags at 17 there. Now we got the Bengals up. It's gonna be offensive line, and Talise Fuaga looked great. Could go with him, or we could go with Amarius Mims at tackle. Or Tyler Guyton had himself a nice Senior Bowl as well. He looks fairly good. Jordan Morgan was kind of like all right. Um, we'll go Fuaga. We'll go Talise Fuaga there. It has him listed as an interior offensive line on this site, but he played right tackle at Oregon State, so I'm not sure why that is, but he is a tackle. So he goes to the Bengals there at 18. 19, we got the Rams on the board. They do need an edge. And, you know, like I said, Latu looked a little pedestrian, but considering what's left here, you've got Braylon Trice, Chop Robinson, Latu. There are some, good ones down the board a little bit there. Braswell, Darius Robinson killed it at the Senior Bowl. He's probably going to be in the first round conversation now, just how dominant he was down there. But we're going to just go with Latu here. Seems like a Rams pick and get them the edge that they need there. The only other place I go is corner, usually for them, because they need that too. But all right, now we got the Steelers up here at pick 20, and no questions about it. I'd love to have Cooper DeJean, but the need on the offensive line is just too much to withstand. So we're going to take Amarius Mims to the Steelers there, and he's going to play right tackle. And you're going to move Broderick Jones to left tackle. They both played at Georgia. Get a little bit of chemistry there between the two, even though they're on opposite ends of the line. And who knows? Maybe if there's a pick too good to pass on in the second round, or maybe if Jackson Powers Johnson goes beforehand, could look into Cedric Van Pran at center, and then you've got three young Georgia linemen on your offensive line. But got the Dolphins up here at pick 21. They could use interior offensive line, defensive line, tackle, and with these guys sitting here, I'm gonna go. I have Graham Barton higher than Falcone when it comes to guard, because I think that's what they both are in the NFL. And I also like the fact that Graham Barton could play any position on the offensive line. He took snaps at center, he took snaps at guard, he played tackle for Duke. So the shorter arm situation is why he's kind of being rated to go inside. But You know, they need help. The Dolphins could use help on the interior and a tackle, and like Connor Williams might be going too. Their center, so like he could play anywhere, and it just makes sense to take him for the versatility because you just plug him who you can't re-sign or wherever your need is. So we're gonna go Graham Barton to the Dolphins there at 21. Philadelphia Eagles are up. We're gonna make no fusses about it. They need corner, and like I said, I kind of like Cooper DeJean slightly more as a safety. I'm not saying that he can't play corner. He can obviously do it. They could also use a free safety, so maybe we could do Cooper DeJean to the Eagles. As much as I hate it, I'm still gonna do it anyways. Cooper DeJean to the Eagles there. I have him over McKinstry, so I can't just put McKinstry there because I don't like Cooper DeJean on the Eagles. He's a great corner and safety, and I would rather have him go somewhere else, but it's fine. I would rather have him the Steelers, but we need offensive line too bad to like take a corner with that first pick. It's just we just have to. We have to fix the offensive line, especially with Arthur Smith coming in. You're gonna want to run the ball. Who they gonna run behind? You need some talent there on the offensive line. So it is what it is. Texans up at 23, and they need defensive interior line and edge. But with Johnny Newton still here, and the edges kind of taking a slight hit, they're not. I mean, there's still some good ones left, but to get defensive interior number 2 in this class, at least in my opinion, a lot of people's number 1. So we're going to go Johnny Newton there to Texans at 23. Now we got the Dallas Cowboys on the clock, and they need a tackle. Could go wide receiver if Brandon Cooks is gone. Even with Cooks there, they could still add a wide receiver for sure. CeeDee Lamb, he needs some help a little bit. So for me, it's going to be either corner, offensive tackle, or wide receiver here. And the corners took a slight hit, so you could take Kool-Aid here. You could take a wide receiver like Troy Franklin makes sense to this team for me. Or you could go with the tackle position. And I think Tyler Guyton did enough to get himself into the first round. So we're gonna opt for the tackle. We're gonna take Tyler Guyton there to the Cowboys. Green Bay Packers up, and we're gonna take probably Kool-Aid here. But let me take a look. I also really like Ennis Rakestraw. So he's probably going to maybe go in the first round, depending. As far as tackle goes, Patrick Paul, he has some tools, but he could use some work, especially at the Senior Bowl. He wasn't a loser. He wasn't a winner either. He was just kind of pedestrian. Same thing with Jordan Morgan. So with that being the case, maybe we just take best player available here. So we're going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Packers there. All right. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up. And I'm kind of looking at maybe taking that Darius Robinson here. Where do they have him listed? Okay, they have him as a defensive interior. But he played both on the edge and in the interior. I don't know. He's definitely going to be in the first round conversation. Do I think he makes it? I still don't think, if you're looking for edge players, I don't think he makes it over like Braylon Trice. We're going to take Braylon Trice to the Bucs there at 26. And now we're looking at the Arizona Cardinals here. They could use anything on the defense. You went and got Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, good. All right, now I'll address everything on your defense. Corners kind of taking a hit. We might take Rakestraw. Uh, Chop Robinson a little bit too raw for me. I kind of want someone coming out a little bit more put together, like maybe Chris Braswell later on, if we can even get him. I think they have the second pick. Or what is it? Third pick of the second, so maybe we can wait on Braswell and get him there. I'm gonna go get corner while we still can, and we're gonna take Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. Jeez, sorry, my nose is completely stuffed. Buffalo Bills. I've been going wide receiver for them pretty much most of the time. Probably still gonna do it here because there's some good ones sitting here for you. Troy Franklin has been my pick to this team, and it just still makes the most sense to me for this team. Uh, I don't know, either that or Keon Coleman. Like, you could go like I think Franklin's the better player, but they don't have a receiver like Coleman. I've put Coleman there a bunch too. Troy Franklin makes sense, and so does Coleman for me for the Bills because they don't have a like combat catch wide receiver that Josh Allen can throw to in the red zone. A lot of times in the red zone, he's kind of looking for, Stephon Diggs, who just isn't tall enough to go up and get it. So you got to hope that he's either open, like, or Dalton Kincaid. You don't have anybody climbing the ladder if you want to throw like a fade to the corner. So we're with that being my argument, we're gonna go Keon Coleman there to the Bills at 28. All right, Lions up at 29. So we'd like to go corner, but Lassiter sitting there. Kalen King, I think, is a third, fourth round guy. He doesn't do anything for me, and he hasn't helped himself out at all during this process to this point. Um, as far as what's left, man, corner's kind of going downhill, so we could snag Lassiter here, be the last one that I'd take in this spot, or we go get like Chop Robinson at the edge position. What do I want to go with here? Or we could go Braswell. Braswell could sneak into the back of the first. I think we just take the upside of Chop here down at the bottom of the first round. He's still a good edge, could use a little bit of work, but you kind of get that twitched up, speedy edge coming off the other side of Hutchinson, who's more on the bigger side. I think it's a good combo for them. Corner like Lassiter, I'm not like super impressed with Lassiter, but he's out of what's sitting here, I would take him over pretty much anybody. But yeah. So like I said, we're gonna take Chop Robinson for the upside there. Needs some polish, but the upside is immense. So we go for that there for the Lions at 29. While the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, I would really like corner because that's where they need the most help. But Lassiter right now at pick 29 might be a little bit too rich for me. All right, Ravens up here at pick 30, and like I said, to me they're well, I didn't say it in this mock draft video, but like so Odell Beckham on the older side, Rashad Bateman kind of mid. Zay Flowers the only receiver there that I even really like. They couldn't move the ball through the air during the AFC Championship game. I don't know. I talked about this in the last video. This shit has to be rigged at this point. Like as much as I love the NFL and I love doing these mock drafts and whatnot, maybe this shit's just all fake as fuck. Because like you had the best running offense in the entire league, and you dropped back to pass like 82% of the game. Like on snaps, 82% was like a passing play, which I don't understand why you're doing that when your strength is running the football. Makes zero sense. But regardless, they have to get better in the passing game. I think they still need wide receiver talent. They went and got Zay Flowers last year, which helped, but Odell Beckham, he's just okay now. Kind of washed up, too many injuries during his career to really be elite anymore, and Rashad Bateman is just kind of crap. So we're gonna go Troy Franklin here. Troy Franklin to the Ravens there at pick 30. Kansas City Chiefs up. They're looking for the same thing, looking for a wide receiver here. This is the only pick that we don't know how it's going to pan out, whether they pick 31st or 32nd. Regardless, I don't think it matters because I don't see San Fran taking a wide receiver with their first pick anyways. So we're going to look here at the wide receiver selections. Xavier Legette, he didn't completely hurt his stock at the Senior Bowl. He looked okay, but he got injured. So that's why some people are going to be a little lower. Devontae Walker, I think, sucked at the Senior Bowl. He didn't do anything to impress me. He had drops all over the field. He looked like shit. Not feeling it, but one wide receiver that did look the part and looks great is Ladd McConkey. And I am going to fit him into the first round here to the Chiefs. They need wide receiver. This dude, all he does is get open. He was torching defensive backs at the Senior Bowl, including, I don't want to say torch, but he definitely got him, Quinyon Mitchell. So we're going to go Ladd McConkey there to the Chiefs at 31. All right, now we got the 49ers on the board. They're looking for offensive line. Man, my nose is completely clogged. Like I said, Patrick Paul, Jordan Morgan look a little pedestrian. I'm going to take Faltanu here because they could use guard as well. So if he doesn't really work out at tackle, if like he ends up being a guard, then that's fine. So either one, he can play. All right, Carolina Panthers. It's going to be offense. It has to be offense. You have to go out and get Bryce Young a playmaker. And we could go with the only two I'd take in this spot right now, or three I would say, is I think Ricky Pearsall did a lot. I think he's a great receiver. I think he did a lot for his stock at the Senior Bowl. Same thing with Roman Wilson. He had a great Senior Bowl. Brendan Rice even had a good Senior Bowl, but I still kind of favor like Xavier Worthy and AD Mitchell over the two right now. It just depends on what you want. So you have Adam Thielen. He's kind of like medium sized. Jonathan Mingo, a little bit bigger receiver. Neither of them have any speed, and I just think a dynamic player like Xavier Worthy coming in there to like play out of the slot position or something could be what Bryce Young needs. Somebody that gets open, can fly. We already have Mingo, who's a bigger receiver, like combat catch guy. And then you got Thielen, who's like your possession receiver guy in the red zone. I know Thielen plays a lot of slot, but I don't care. Make him play outside or get rid of him. I don't know. I mean, even though he was your best receiver last year, I love Thielen, but you got like I think adding speed to this wide receiver room is detrimental. So we're gonna go Xavier Worthy there to the Panthers at pick 1 of the second round. Now we got the Patriots back up, and like we talked about earlier, definitely need wide receiver help now that you've got Drake May. And I'm not going to go, I have before because I like Tez Walker. I am not going and getting his college teammate to play on this team. We're going to go AD Mitchell here to the Patriots. And Tez Walker is going to fall for me. I'm sorry, like, I don't want to say he's complete shit now or whatever, but like, he dropped the ball all freaking Senior Bowl. Like, and then when he was in the game, when they were actually playing the Senior Bowl game, like he was kind of getting fucking strapped. I mean, like I just he didn't do anything for me the whole time. Like he was there. Maybe it's mental. Maybe he was just having a tough week. I don't know, but he's not going to be a second round guy for me anymore. Sorry. So the Cardinals are on the board again, and like we talked about earlier, we're definitely going to snag that edge piece, Chris Braswell here for the Cardinals at the 3rd pick of the 2nd round. Now we've got the Washington Commanders up. They're kind of looking for tackle. They're definitely looking for edge as well because they lost both of their edges last year with Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So they're definitely going to be looking in that area, but right now, they kind of took a little bit of a hit. We still like Jonah Ellis. We still like Adisa Isaac. when it comes to that. Or maybe, maybe you go with, I mean, he's a little bit bigger because like he could play interior or defensive line, but we could take what's his name, Darius Robinson here possibly because he can allegedly play edge as well. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna take the shot on. So hard to choose. Tackle. We could go with the tackle position. I guess Jordan Morgan looked okay, but he's still the better prospect, I think, in my mind than like Patrick Paul. Kingsley Suamataia is, I think he's going to be a good tackle, but he's slightly more of a project over the other two, and I think they kind of need help right now to step in and play the position. So we're going to take Jordan Morgan to the Commanders there at the 4th pick of the 2nd round. Now we got the Chargers on the board at pick 5. We went Joe Alt in the 1st round. Sorry, I haven't been really calling that out, who we took in the 1st round for these last couple, but you remember. Panthers didn't have a 1st round pick. Patriots, we took Drake May, added A.D. Mitchell there. Cardinals already had Ennis Rakestraw and Marvin Harrison Jr., adding Chris Braswell. And then the Commanders had, who we take for the Commanders in the 1st round? Jaden Daniels, that's right. So we had Jaden Daniels. Now we got Jordan Morgan, get him some protection. Chargers up. And corner is a need for them. Wide receiver could be as well, but you could even go Jatavion Sanders at tight end because you could use that tight end that we talked about, Brock Bowers and all that. But who I think had a good Senior Bowl as well that like I don't think is too far behind like a Jatavion Sanders is Jaheim Bell from Florida State. I think he looked pretty good. So maybe you could like take him a little bit later on in the draft. I think we need to add some corner talent to this team, and we're just gonna take the last best one, at least available right now in the 2nd round for me in Lassiter here to the Chargers. Now we got the Titans up. They took Olu Fashanu in the 1st round to get the tackle help. Now I think they need to look at the wide receiver position. And what do we want to do here? So I'm kind of I think they need to add speed to the department with DeAndre Hopkins on the old side, Treylon Burks slow, hasn't looked like a number 1 pick like he was taken with. I think you need to add speed, and I think these guys did enough to boost themselves. Like Pearsall and Roman Wilson both look really good. Walker's down the list for me. Leggett didn't do anything wrong. He just got hurt, so he might get pushed down just because of his injury. Jalen Polk's another really good one, but like I said, you're not really adding a ton of speed there. I kind of want speed. So I'm going to go with, let's give him some love to Ricky Pearsall. We're going to go Ricky Pearsall to the Titans at pick 6 of the 2nd round. Definitely things, getting a little diced up now. I had never had Ricky Pearsall until like 3rd, 4th round before. And guys just look the part out there on the field. Senior Bowl hit and rankings change. Even that's like some would consider early for Pearsall, but I don't think so. I think some of these other guys got pushed down, like Walker. Polk is good, but like I said, I want his speed. Leggett injured. And then you got this next set. You got Brennan Rice who looked good. Roman Wilson and Pearsall were just a step above Rice in my opinion. So they're my next couple to come off the list. Now we got the Giants up at pick 7, and this is where I can see someone taking a swing at J.J. McCarthy, which I'm going to do for them. We're going to go get J.J. McCarthy for the Giants there to sit behind Daniel Jones until you want to move on from Daniel Jones. And J.J. McCarthy is still the mystery of the draft because he didn't go to Senior Bowl, so he didn't look like shit like some of these other quarterbacks did. And he played at Michigan where they ran the ball a lot. So we still don't really know all what we have with McCarthy, but it's worth finding out for the Giants after they skipped out on quarterback in the first round and they went and got an elite playmaker like Malik Neighbors. So it makes sense to take JJ McCarthy there. These other two guys might get pushed down a little bit more, or maybe you just end up taking a swing on Bo Nix or Penix later on in the second just because you need to address the position, take a shot, but neither of them looked like they're definitely not first round picks, but maybe set late seconds. I don't know. I don't know how I value them right now. They're just okay for me right now. We'll see how it goes. But Commanders back up. Still looking for the edge. We could take a swing on the edge now that you went and got the tackle. Another place I usually go here is like tight end, with Ja'Tavion Sanders. But I think at this point we go get an edge before they're all gone. Not that any, there's still some players here, but I just mean like top tier ones. We're gonna take Jonah Ellis to the Commanders there. They need to add a player there at that position. Uh, Green Bay Packers up. We're gonna take the swing at Kingsley Suamataia because even if Bakhtiari is, even if he's back and whatnot, like he's on the older side, Suamataia, like I said, a slight project. You can put him behind Bakhtiari, and then he's your replacement whenever Bakhtiari leaves. Or even if Bakhtiari leaves, you could still even run him. It's better than what you have, so we're going to Suamataia there to the Packers. Now here's one of the picks that the Bears picked up from trading down to give the Vikings Caleb Williams. Still looking at a wide receiver. Might do that here. So, like I said, Roman Wilson looked great. Brennan Rice. Trying to think what they could use. DJ Moore is the small, faster player. I'm thinking about adding somebody with size, and Jalen Polk could be it for me here. I still like Leggett. I'm not saying I don't like him. It's just his injury might, push him down a little bit down the board. Um, I just think Polk is too solid to pass up right now, so we're gonna take Jalen Polk to the Bears there at 10 to go with DJ Moore and get Mooney the hell out of there, or put him in the slot or something if he's not an outside wide receiver, in my opinion. Jeez, this snows, man. I'm sorry. Atlanta Falcons might look at one of these quarterbacks. They could. They could. Uh, Still looking for an edge player. Those have taken a hit. Could go corner. Though I'm not seeing any that are tickling my fancy right now. Maybe TJ Tampa. Out of this list, he's definitely my number one right, like sitting here. We got defensive interior. Could do that. We could go defensive interior. T'Vondre Sweat. That could be a hell of a pick for them. Or we take a swing at these quarterbacks, but how much better is Bo Nix or Michael Penix than a Desmond Ridder? It could be an upgrade, but at the same time, you could get the same type of talent sitting there. Maybe they stick it out with Ridder a little bit. I think we're gonna do that. Let's since the edges are kind of like, I don't know, the only other edge I'd take right now would be maybe Adisa Isaac. Maybe we go, you know what, this is where we're gonna get Darius Robinson. We're gonna take Darius Robinson there for the Falcons. I think he did an excellent job at the Senior Bowl. We're gonna boost him up a little bit. He's gonna be an early second round pick or slight middle second round pick. Could go in the first. Like I said, people are talking him up tremendously. We'll see how it goes. They could use edge or defensive or interior defensive line. He's listed as interior defensive line. He is on the bigger side. Put him wherever you need him. I heard that, I think I know it says he's 290 on his site. I can't remember. I think somebody said that he cut weight just to like show his edge ability, and then he can add it back on if you want the interior. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. I heard that about somebody, but I think it was him. But regardless, Falcons get him here with the 11th pick of the second round. Raiders back up. They took corner there in the first, and the Raiders are a little bit different of a situation than the Falcons. So the Raiders have a like Aiden O'Connell, who I think is a career backup. I think he's a good backup. I don't think he's bad, you know, but I don't think he's a starter either. Falcons at least had Ritter, where I think maybe you could ride him out a little longer and see what you have with him. The Raiders don't have anybody like Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, backup. Let's take a shot on Bo Nix for the Raiders there at 12 of the second round. Because I have Nix still above Penix. Penix doesn't do shit for me. Sorry. He's kind of like. Now, I said this same shit about Will, Will Levis last year, and he ended up being pretty good. So maybe we'll see what, I hate to be like an asshole like that and just say, just this guy and it. But Penix, does he have a nice arm? Sure. Do I like his mechanics? No. Do I like his ability under pressure? No. Do I, there's things to work on for him. But it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so Saints are up on the board. I would like to add them a wide receiver because all they have is Olave. Michael Thomas is a free agent. They have Shaheed. Could go tight end as well. We could go with like Jatavion Sanders possibly. Let's just look at both here. They're a team that hasn't had a nice tight end in a while, and this tight end class is not very very good. Like they're just not deep, I guess I should say. So maybe let's just go with the tight end, and maybe we could get a nice wide receiver later. That like because there's a lot of wide receivers in this class that are good. Like Jaquan Jackson, from Tulane, probably like projected to be like a sixth rounder or some shit. I thought he looked pretty good at the Senior Bowl. I mean, he was burning dudes in the one-on-ones. He looked fine. Uh, you know, who did better in the Senior Bowl? Devontae Walker or Jaquan Jackson? Jaquan. Uh, I just think there's some steals that you could possibly get later on with the wide receiver position. So I'm going to take Jatavion Sanders there to the Saints and get them a nice tight end option. Because Juwan Johnson, how long we've been riding that out for. All right, Colts back up. Still looking for that tackle. Maybe this is where we feel comfortable enough to take Patrick Paul, or we take a wide receiver to help Pittman. Kind of feeling out a little bit. Let's go Roman Wilson. We'll take Roman Wilson to the Colts. Josh Downs is in the slot and Pittman on the outside, and we will figure something else out with the tackle later. Maybe we can get like a Zach Zinter or something along those lines later. All right, it's killing me that Jackson Powers Johnson's falling this far. I'm sure there was a team, maybe somebody could have took a center earlier. In this case, like John Michael Schmitz just went there, so we're not going to take one to the Giants here. We're going to look for, possibly like I'm kind of feeling the safety position right now based upon what's here, and Cam Kinchins, Tyler Newman, both good safeties. There's some guys I like when it comes to the safety position. Jaden Hicks, another one that I really like. Let's just go with safety one right now, and it's pretty close between Newman and Kinchins, but let's just go with Kinchins for right now. Jaguars on the board. Still looking for that corner position. Possibly looking for edge. Offensive line. Who do they got? I forget who their center is. Luke Fortner. That's right. I looked them up. I looked this same thing up like last time I did this mock. You think I'd remember? We'll go Jackson Powers Johnson to the Jaguars there. Address the center position a little bit. Get it some fresh stuff on your offensive line there. All right, Bengals. We're looking defensive interior probably here. No fusses about it. T'Vondre Sweat still sitting here. We're gonna take him to the Bengals. Fill the hole in the middle of that defense. DJ Reader got hurt last year, and I think he's a free agent, so he possibly is out the door. And even if he comes back, you still need some more talent there in that defensive interior. So Sweat is the pick there. Got the Eagles here at 18. We can look at the safety position as well. Might do that with Newman here. Could look at wide receiver as well. They kind of need like a slot player. Who do we have? Yeah, maybe you could get that a little later. Excuse me. Patrick Paul, if you're looking for a tight end replacement for Lane Johnson, I think he said he still had a couple years left in him, so maybe you don't. Maybe you can get that in the next year's draft or something. We're gonna take the safety with Tyler Newman there for the Eagles, and now we got the Steelers back on the clock, and because I really wanted Jackson Powers Johnson, but because I can't just base everything off the Steelers. Like he should have went already. He's a borderline first round pick. So the fact that he fell is just kind of bullshit in this draft, but shit happens. You know what I'm saying? These teams need other things. That's fine. You know. So with the Steelers being up there, they need to address the center. All of my mock drafts that I do for the Steelers, like, because I do a bunch of like just on my own time, just picking only Steelers and letting the thing randomize the rest of it. I go tackle corner or tackle center every single time I do one because that's the main things that we need. I'm going Zach Frazier to the Steelers there, pick 19, to get Mason Cole the hell out and to get Dan Moore the hell out and Chukwuma Okafor, where the fuck his name is, out. So now we've got a line with Broderick Jones on the left tackle, Amarius Mims on the right tackle, Zach Frazier in the center, Suamalo is our left guard, and Daniels is our right guard. And now we have a solid line to work with. And then with our last, whatever picks, we can address the rest of our needs there. It wasn't going to be Michael Penix. They're going to stick with Kenny Pickett. And now you got a new OC in there. Matt Canada's gone. All these people were like, these Steeler fans kill me. Everyone's like, Kenny Pickett. And then, he goes down with injury and Mason Rudolph comes in and does an okay job. He didn't blow anybody's socks, so he did an okay job. Okay. Then everyone's like, Mason Rudolph's our guy. It's like, no, he's not. He's a backup still. I'm not hating on Rudolph. He's a good backup. But that's what he is. He's a good backup. Kenny Pickett is your future. And you need, we didn't really get to see him without Matt Canada, right? Matt Canada was in there all season with Kenny Pickett. Our offense looked like shit. Matt Canada got fired. And then Kenny Pickett had a nice game. We scored. We had like over 400 yards of offense that game. The first game that Canada was gone. Then Pickett gets hurt against the Cardinals, and that's when Mason Rudolph, kind of took over because Pickett was hurt. And then we're just like, screw Pickett. He just had his best game of the season after you got rid of Matt Canada. Matt Canada could have been the problem. He very well could have been the problem. These play calls, we're never throwing the ball down the field at all, right? Short passes, screens, all this bullshit. You're getting Kenny, fucked up, like running the ball all the time. He didn't have a chance to really shine. Then you dump Matt Canada out of there, and we're throwing the ball to the field. Pat Freiermuth's killing it. Pickens is killing it with Pickett. And then he gets hurt, and then we're just like shunning him now? No. Kenny Pickett is our starting quarterback. Definitely for this year. And then, after we see a whole season of him with a new offensive coordinator, hopefully we can get him some more help, which we just did on the offensive line, so he doesn't have to get pressured all the time. And let's give Pickett a fair shake, man. I'm still a Pickett believer, and I'm gonna be till the end. Okay, I don't. People want to talk about fair weather ass fans or whatever. I have been a Pickett believer since he was drafted, and I'm not gonna just change that now. I don't think the guy is bad at all, like everyone tries to make him out to be. I think he can be a starter in this league. He just needed to have the right OC. He needs a better line, and they needed to utilize George Pickens more because they didn't in Matt Canada's offense at all, which is why Pickens was getting pissed and he wanted to get out the door. So, with all that being said, Kenny Pickett, I think will have a great season this upcoming season. Let's just pray. All right. Continuing the mock draft. Los Angeles Rams here at the 20th pick. We wanted to go corner earlier, and I think we're going to do it while TJ Tampa's still here. We're going to go get TJ Tampa to play corner there. I would have the only other player I would have gone with was Patrick Paul because they do need a tackle, but we'll figure that out later. Like a Zach Sinter in the third round or something could be possible. I'm not doing 3 rounds, but I'm just calling out players that they could maybe snag in the third. All right, Eagles are back up. They got the safety, they got the corner, and because the tools are there and he could be a little bit of a project, maybe you can sit Paul behind Lane Johnson and learn, and in a couple years you slot him in as your tackle. Patrick Paul to the Eagles. Now we got the Browns' first pick of the draft. They're probably looking on the defensive side of the ball, or maybe maybe they're a team that takes, because they are stupid. Maybe they take that swing on Michael Penix Jr. because Deshaun Watson, they're kind of in a pickle. They went out and got this guy, and he doesn't look any good. They went through all their quarterback. They had Joe Flacco running out there. They had Dorian Thompson Robinson or whatever his name is, playing a couple games. Even if he ends up backing up Watson for like a year or something, I'm gonna take Michael Penix to the Browns, and still don't think it's gonna go well for them, but maybe he takes over Deshaun Watson's job. Maybe you can trade Watson or something. Watson just doesn't look any good anymore. I liked him when he was with the Texans for a little bit, but he started dying off, and then the whole scandal with the massage parlor and everything. And then he comes back, he looks like garbage. I'm over his ass. I don't care. All right, Dolphins. Dolphins. Looking defensive interior line. Uh, let's go Leonard Taylor. The Dolphins there at 23, second round. Get them some defensive interior line help. Now we got the Cowboys up. We're wanted to go wide receiver possibly or corner. Kalen King dropped off the table for me. I'm not picking him. I do like Mike Samerstill. He's kind of like a slot dude though. You do have Diggs and Bland, so I'm not really thinking corner actually at all. Thinking we need to add some wide receiver talent. We're gonna take Brendan Rice to the Cowboys. I think he had a nice Senior Bowl. Might have boosted himself up over a couple of these guys here. Devontae Walker, like I said, fell for me. Might be a third round pick for me. Leggett, I still think he's worthy of a second. Don't get me wrong. Jermaine Burton's pretty good. Johnny Wilson, never been a fan. I think somebody could maybe convert him to a tight end or something. Not real thrilled with Johnny Wilson at all. I like Jamari Thrash, Jalen McMillan. I like Javal Baker a lot. This Marcus Rosemy Saint, he didn't get a lot of exposure at Georgia, but he looks good. He looks sure-handed. I like him. There's some guys, what I'm saying. Let's continue on. So now we've got the Packers up. We would like a safety for them as well. So I think I'm going to take Bullock here. Got the tackle, got the corner. I don't think they need to add a wide receiver. I think they're fine with like Dontavian Wicks showed promise. Jaden Reed looks good. Christian Watson, I think, will turn it on. He was just hurt all year, slow getting back or whatever. And I like Romeo Doubs. I think he's a solid wideout as well. So we're gonna go with Bullock there for the pack. Address that secondary in all facets. Now we got the Bucks up here at the 26th pick. I'm going Edgerrin Cooper, play linebacker. You still have Devin White, but then Lavonte David, I think, is either a free agent or maybe retiring. He's getting old or whatever. So get some young talent in there to play with White, with Edgerrin Cooper. All right, the Texans are up on the clock. Last time I took a running back for them here, just took the first one off the board because I don't think Singletary or Dameon Pierce are really doing it for you. Um, Looking at what's here, DeMeco Ryans would love to add a linebacker. I just don't know which one I'd want. I kind of honestly, out of what's here, when it comes to the linebacker position, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., of course, going with the popular name, you could say. But the linebacker I might like the most, I do like Colson. I love Peyton Wilson, and I think he's a guy that could be really, really good for the Texans. With DeMeco Ryans coaching him up, I'm going to take him. Be my second linebacker off the board. Third, I'd probably put either Trotter or Colson, and then it works its way down from there. But I have Peyton Wilson pretty high. I'm going to take him there at 27 to the Texans. Bills are up. They're looking for interior defensive line. Safeties is another option. Could get a tackle, but there's nothing really I'm feeling. I do like Zinter. Abagaji is an option as well. Christian Jones looked really good at the Senior Bowl. So I don't mind him either, but that maybe could be slightly later. Let's get Chris Jenkins plugged the middle for the Bills. They've been needing to stop the run for a few years now, so let's go get that. Maybe we can address the safety position a little later on, which we're not going to do because we're only doing 2 rounds, but whatever. All right, the Lions are up on the clock. We do need a corner. It's just looking a little tough right now. I love, Mike Sayers still, but all these guys are a little bit on this Kalen Carson probably be the player I'd go with. Kalen King's dropped down the board for me. Josh Newton, he's all right. I like Chris Abrams-Drain, but he's more of a slot corner for me. Mike Sainristil, same thing, slot, or he could even possibly play safety. I'm gonna go with we'll go with Kalen Carson here. It's gonna be the pick for the Lions there at 29. Kalen King just ain't it for me. He's gonna be probably a 3rd round guy for me. And now we've got the Ravens up. We took wide receiver with the first pick. They're kind of in the same boat. Looking for a defensive interior line. Possibly, they have running back listed here. Keaton Mitchell, I think, is the starter now for them. I'm not worried about the running back position. Yeah. Let's go. Corner is getting tough for me to choose. I'm not feeling these 3 guys at all. I like Drain and Sainristil, but like I said, they're slot corners. But maybe they need one. Let's look up. I forget who the Ravens. Who do they have? Obviously, Marlon Humphrey, Ronald Darby, Brandon Stevens. I wish the depth chart would show which player they put in the nickel. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're going to take the next best corner on my board, nickel or not, is Mike Sainristil. We're going to take him there to the Ravens, which pisses me off because I want him for the Steelers. Anyways, let's move on. Chiefs up, 31st pick of the second round. We took wide receiver. We're kind of looking for defensive line and interior just in case Chris Jones walks out. They'll probably want to sign him and keep him there, but I still think you could, add more talent to that defensive interior line. Corner is another thing, like, Ladarius Sneed or whatever. Ladarius Sneed is a free agent. They're probably going to want to bring those two guys back. That's probably their top priority is Chris Jones and Sneed. Out of the corners here, not feeling, like I said, I'm not feeling any of them. So we're going to address the defensive interior line spot. And I thought that we didn't really get to see like some of these other guys at the Senior Bowl. But Michael Hall Jr. looked good. One player that really looked good was Braden Fisk out of Florida State. And I'm going to pump him up the board a little bit. We're going to go with Braden Fisk here at pick 31 for the Kansas City Chiefs. He looked excellent at the Senior Bowl. San Francisco 49ers back up. Last pick of my mock draft here. I want to address definitely something in the secondary, whether it's corner or safety. And so let's pull all those up here. All the defensive backs. Like I said, corner has kind of like taken a hit a little bit. So we're going to address the safety position. I'm going to get this safety that I really like out of Washington State, Jaden Hicks. He's going to go at pick 32 to the 49ers to end out the mock draft. And like I said, I'm not going to do a third round, but that's going to do it for this mock draft video. Some players that fell in this one, just to give a slight recap. Kalen King fell down my board. Xavier Legette, he's always been consistently going in the second round for me. He's fallen a little bit because of an injury, and he looked sort of pedestrian before he got injured at the Senior Bowl. So Devontae Walker dropped every ball that was thrown to him at the Senior Bowl, pretty much. He's a drop. Other than that, not too many drops because, some of these guys, it's their third round picks. But those are just some key ones to mention. And then just to give you an idea of who we selected, if you're just rolled to the end of the video, Arizona Cardinals, we took Marvin Harrison Jr. with their first pick. At the 27th pick of the first round, we took Ennis Rakestraw Jr. And we took Chris Braswell at edge there at the third pick of the second round. Atlanta ended up with Rome Odunze at pick 8 of the first round. Darius Robinson, who had himself a monster Senior Bowl, got him with the 11th pick of the second round. Baltimore got Troy Franklin with the 30th pick at wide receiver and took Mike Sainristil at corner with the 30th pick of the second round. Buffalo took Keon Coleman to give them a different look at wide receiver than they have with the 28th pick of the first round. Chris Jenkins goes 28th pick of the second round to the Bills, fill the hole in the middle of their defense at defensive interior. Carolina only had one pick. That was their second round pick, first pick in the second round. We gave him some speed at the wide receiver position to give him a dynamic playmaker to work with Bryce Young. Xavier Worthy goes there to Carolina. Chicago, we took Jared Verse with the 9th pick. Terrion Arnold with the 11th pick because the Bears in the beginning of the draft, they traded out and the Vikings traded up. So we got pick 11 and 9. We went Jared Verse, Terrion Arnold, and then we got the Vikings second round pick, and we took Jalen Polk at wide receiver there for the Bears. Cincinnati ended up with right tackle Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State in the first round. Second round, we got Devondre Sweat to fill the hole in the interior. Cleveland only had one pick. We went Michael Penix Jr. in hopes that maybe he plays better than Deshaun Watson. Plus, they had a quarterback carousel. We'd rather see the carousel with Penix in it than I guess not. Dallas is up. We took Tyler Guyton to play tackle in the first round, pick 24, and we got Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice, at wide receiver with the 24th pick of the second round for Dallas. Denver, we only had the one pick. Took Dallas Turner edge, possibly the best edge in the class there at 12. Detroit, we got Chop Robinson, the Project Edge, high upside player to play opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. And we got Kalen Carson because the corners took a big hit. We got Kalen Carson in the second round at pick 29. Green Bay got Kool-Aid McKinstry with the 25th pick in the first round. We grabbed Kingsley Suamataia to play tackle and be Bakhtari's successor there with the 9th pick of the second round. And with the 25th pick of the second round, we got Kalen Bullock to play safety. Houston, we took Johnny Newton on the defensive interior line there at pick 23. And with the 27th pick of the second round, we got Peyton Wilson out of NC State linebacker for D'Amico Ryans to coach up. Indianapolis went with Nate Wiggins in the first with the 15th pick to play corner, and we nabbed Roman Wilson to play the other outside wide receiver with Michael Pittman, with moving down to the slot, which he was already there. So I don't know why I said that, but whatever. Jacksonville, we took Brian Thomas Jr. to play wide receiver in the first round with the 17th pick, and we nabbed Jackson Powers Johnson to play center with the 16th pick of the second round. Good draft for Jacksonville. Kansas City's up. Ladd McConkey ended up being the best available there at 31 to add a wide receiver to the group, which I'm saying it now. I think Ladd McConkey is going to be one of the better wide receivers down when you look at the production. I think he's going to be maybe even top 5 in this class when it comes to that after we see him get drafted and play a couple seasons. I think he's going to be like the next Cooper Kupp. Braden Fisk went with the 31st pick of the second round to Kansas City on the interior of the defensive line. Chargers took Joe Alt with the 5th pick to finish off building that offensive line, and we got Kamari Lassiter in the second to play corner. Rams got Laiatu Latu with the 19th pick at edge, and we took TJ Tampa to play corner with the 20th pick in the second round. Las Vegas Raiders got Quinyon Mitchell to be a lockdown ball hawk corner for them finally with the 13th pick of the first round, and we grabbed Bo Nix to play quarterback with the 12th pick of the second round. Miami's up. We grabbed Graham Barton to play anywhere we want on the offensive line, wherever's needed, and with the 21st pick of the first, and then we got Leonard Taylor to play defensive interior at the 23rd pick of the second. Minnesota grabbed Caleb Williams, and that's all they had because they gave away the barn to go get their next franchise quarterback. New England got Drake May with the 3rd pick of the first round, and they added a wide receiver in A.D. Mitchell to give them somebody to throw the ball to there with the 2nd pick of the second round. New Orleans grabbed J.C. Latham, built the trenches with Trevor Penning not panning out, and then we grabbed Jatavion Sanders in the second to play tight end so that you can get an upgrade on Juwan Johnson. New York Giants took Malik Neighbors with the 6th overall pick to play wide receiver. Got them a number 1 wide receiver finally. Took a swing on J.J. McCarthy with the 7th pick of the second to hopefully be Daniel Jones' successor. And then we grabbed them a safety in Cameron Kitchens with the 15th pick of the second round. The Jets ended up with only 1 pick there. They got Brock Bowers at tight end. Serious upgrade over Conklin in hopes that the offense can, with Aaron Rodgers, can will its way to the playoffs next year. Philadelphia ended up with Cooper DeJean to play corner, Tyler Newman to play safety, and Patrick Paul to play offensive tackle after Lane Johnson retires. That was with the 22nd pick of the first, 18th of the second, and 21st of the second. My Pittsburgh Steelers grabbed Demarius Mims in the first round with the 20th pick to play right tackle. Roderick Jones going to kick back over to left. And then with the 19th pick of the second round, too bad Jackson Powers Johnson was gone, but we got a nice consolation prize with Zach Frazier, center out of West Virginia, to play center for us. So now we have a good offensive line. At least we hope these two pan out. But young, good offensive line to build around Kenny Pickett. Seattle Seahawks only had 1 pick. They take Byron Murphy on the defensive interior. San Francisco took Trey Faltanu to either play tackle or guard, which I think he's more of a guard, but that's fine. They could use that anyways. And we grabbed Jaden Hicks to play safety. in the second round with the 32nd pick. Tampa Bay ended up getting Braylon Trice in the first round with the 26th pick at edge, and we took Edgerrin Cooper with the 26th pick to play linebacker. Tennessee got Olu Fashanu in the first round to help their offensive line, and we grabbed riser Ricky Pearsall with 6th pick of the second round to play their other or to play possibly in the slot, or you could, if Treylon Burks is just kind of, then he can play outside too. You got either or. And then lastly, Washington, Jaden Daniels was the second overall pick at quarterback. We grabbed Jordan Morgan to play tackle to help protect him a little bit, and then we grabbed Jonah Ellis to replace one of the edges that you let go last year in Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And that's going to do it for this mock draft. Thank you guys for watching. If you did, if you watched all the way through, I really appreciate it. Please give me a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any future mock drafts that I come out with. Also going to just be doing some other videos as well than just mocks. I'm going to do like my wide receiver rankings, my quarterback rankings, all the positions, right? Where I'm going to come out with a video for each one of those and tell you what I'm thinking, and as of right now, and then I'll do another one of all those later on once like the combine's finished and everything, and we get like our final evaluations on all these players. So I'll be doing those. Or just let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. If you want to see something different than what I've done to this point or that I've mentioned, let me know and I'll be happy to do a video. I definitely want to get this channel going. I'm doing it all by myself, which a lot of the guys that are doing the mocks are doing it all by themselves, but I love doing it. This is like my passion, so is sports and just talking about this kind of stuff. So if you could, help boost the channel, I would appreciate it with giving me a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Peace out. Lots of love.